Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Glad you're here as always. Good to see so much interaction on the internet there. It's good. Terry, how's it going, my brother?
Yeah, not bad, man. I'm having a good day today. How about you?
That's good. I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. It's good to hear that you're doing okay. Last time we spoke, spoke. Last time we spoke, um,
You're speaking Terry now.
yeah, uh, things weren't going so well for you. So I'm glad to hear that you're looking up.
Thanks, bro. I mean, I'm still sad. I mean, my cat died.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm good. I'm good.
All right. We got some stuff to get into today.
Yep.
You sent me a message earlier saying you have a lot on your plate you want to talk about. So let's get into it, brother. What do you
There,
got?
there's a few things we can talk about today. Number one, bone density test. Have you ever done a bone density test?
No, we had talked about it a long time ago as one of the things that you were concerned about, I think. Why are you getting one?
I should get one, so the next time I see my doctor or talk to him, I'm gonna ask him to send
Okay.
me for a bone density. Just because I fractured my foot. I
Sure.
want to just check things out. I don't think I have weak bones, but I did do prednisone quite a few times. So
Yeah.
prednisone weakens the bones, and
Yeah, that's a concern I've heard from a number of people, especially who are on long-term DMTs. Um, I think it's something I should probably be concerned about, maybe. Simply because I'm coming up on I guess next year will be 10 years that I've been taking IV
yeah,
between Tysabri and now Ocrevus. Um, but see, the thing is, like, I don't want to get scared by the minor statistics. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hear you, man. I'm not. I'm just doing it for just um, peace of mind. Holly is the
sure.
one that's like, "Did you get a bone density test?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "You should do that." And I realize I should do it. Like, why not? It's free in Canada.
Yeah, that's true. And that's probably why I haven't had one because
Sorry, bro.
none of my doctors have said that it would be worth it. Um, I don't know. And that's the thing that you get caught up in. It's like when you see these studies about these drugs, you're like, and then you hear the list of side effects that goes on longer than the commercial. You know what I mean? Like you hear that a drug does something. They're like, "Oh, our drug does this. It helps with this problem." But the side effects are 12.
Yeah.
So it's always a, it's that's why they say you have to talk to your provider, and because really the provider, you and the provider should be thinking about risk benefit analysis. Like what am I going to gain from taking this drug versus what could I potentially go wrong? And I like the fact that the rules down here say that if it occurs in the study, it has to be labeled as a potential side effect.
Yeah, even if it happens to one person.
Well, that's the thing. If it happens to one person,
Yeah.
how many people are in the study? And then you think of all the things that could potentially happen to every human on the planet.
Yeah.
If we were scared of all, it's
And
just it's an overload is what I'm
and
getting
there's
at.
loopholes. We probably don't even know the loopholes. Like
Right.
they're probably like if there's one person, no need to mention it. So there's probably one person that
Yeah,
has
there's definitely a threshold somewhere.
there must be. It's just like when you get ingredients for something and they label the ingredients.
Hmm.
I heard I might be wrong, but they're allowed not to show a few things as long as it's under point 0.5 whatever.
Yeah,
So
again, they have rules.
they know how to play
The
the
most
system.
vague the most vague ingredient on anything, if you read, it says natural flavors.
Yeah.
because everything,
I
well, I
guess
want to
so.
say everything, most things that you consume will have natural flavors listed as an ingredient, which means there might be stuff in there that we don't even know is in there.
Yeah.
And it's just natural.
Yeah. I don't even know what to think about that. I always think natural flavors is like they're grabbing flavors from fruits or stuff. I don't know, bro. I'm ignorant.
Well, it's not that. It's not ignorance. It's just they don't even know. So, you know,
Let
they
me
would have
ask
to
you a
do
question.
like, all right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Out of all these medications that you've taken,
Hmm.
uh, first of all, can you remind me not to touch my mic because I hear every time I touch it? Anyway, so all these medications you take, yeah, I'm crazy today. My mind, bro, I'm trying to keep it busy. So
I
I'm
got you.
here, I'm there, I'm here. Okay, so of all these medications you take, the side effects, when have you remembered getting a severe side effect? Severe. Don't, you know, not a
I got
headache,
you.
but maybe a migraine. Something severe where you're like, shit, it just affected me. I don't like this
Mm,
drug. Other than dry mouth too, because I get a lot of dry mouth on drugs.
I would say that the first like 2 or 3 times, it's been a while. The first 2 or 3 times that I had Tysabri,
Really?
I got like flu like I mean, it always felt like you gave yourself the flu on purpose, but the first couple of times it really felt like I couldn't do anything but, lay in bed for a couple of days. But then after that, I guess my body got used to it.
Yeah.
But I gotta say that I have been, you know, knock on wood, touch wood. Um, I've been very lucky with side effects. I have not had many. I've been able to tolerate all the medications pretty well. But I attribute that to the fact that I was young when I was diagnosed.
And
Uh,
ignorant, you know?
no, and healthy.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like I had a
When I
good
say
exercise
ignorant,
routine.
I mean like I didn't focus on the little things. I'm like, oh yeah, it does hurt. Or,
Right.
I didn't focus on my body as much as I do now.
So I think coming from a place of age, general health before the medication, lifestyle changes after the medication, I think all of those things like really have helped me um, to be as successful as I was on as I am on all these drugs. But we say all that, and then the next time I get my infusion, who knows? Every time is different.
Yeah.
Um, especially especially with the way things are right now with medications in the States. Um, well, there's lots of talks about tariffs on
Okay.
medications.
Okay.
And, I was in a webinar yesterday for the MS Society and, or with the MS Society. And that was a point that was raised briefly.
Okay.
How are the concern that's coming up now is how are people's medications going to be affected in light of these tariffs? Now, I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm just saying it's now something to be aware of. And as a
Yeah.
patient, you should be paying attention to um, medication changes. Um, a lot of times, especially so in Pennsylvania, let me back up a sec. In Pennsylvania, um, pharmacists are allowed to switch your prescription to a generic, and I'm sure that happens in a ton of places without telling you.
So one day you go to the pharmacist and you grab your prescription and you realize it's changed.
No, no. Well, sometimes I'll get to that.
Okay.
So when your doctor writes you a script for a brand name medication,
Yeah.
um, when you show up to get your medicine, you will get a pamphlet that says, "Hey, this is the generic version." So a common thing is Cialis. Let's take Cialis for
Okay.
example. When I go to the pharmacy, I don't get a Cialis pill. I get it's called Tadalafil.
Okay.
It's the same drug, it's the same ingredients, it's just a generic version of it.
Okay.
Now, unless the rule as I understand it is unless your provider writes on the script no substitutions,
Yeah.
then you're automatically going to get the generic.
I have,
So the issue with that, and the reason why I bring it up
yeah.
is it goes back to the natural ingredients. So if you label a product, a food product with natural ingredients, nobody really knows what the natural ingredient is.
Okay.
It's just things that occur. Now, generic versus name brand, the filler is different. So if you look at a tablet, if you look at like again Cialis tablet, you see this tiny little tablet.
Yeah.
100% of that tablet is not the Cialis medication.
Okay.
There are binding agents, there's stuff that holds the pill together. And that's where the difference comes in. It's the stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. You're bringing me into a new dimension of thinking of a pill. Now I understand. Yeah, because how do they hold it together? There must be chemicals to hold it together.
Correct. When you look at the pill, it's not 100, the
Yeah,
molecules,
yeah,
So, and Kit's mom
yeah,
had an issue with her medication when she could not have the generic form of whatever medication she was on because she had a reaction to the generic. But when she was put on the name brand
yeah.
of the medication she was prescribed, no reaction.
No reaction, eh?
Right.
Weird.
So
So is
now, oh, go ahead.
so you think it's the filler?
Right. I think it's the binding agent. And the reason why I say that is because, and it comes back to the tariffs, the concern is that people's medication might be coming from somewhere else in the world now to avoid the tariffs or to lessen the tariffs. The drug manufacturer might be shifting where it comes from. I'm not saying it is. I'm not,
Yeah,
this is just business practices. And it's just yet another thing for anybody who's on long term maintenance medication to just be aware of and to just say, like, for example, I would say every 2 years or so, my gabapentin pill changes. It's the same medication with the same, prescription, but the physical pill looks different.
yeah,
And you get a thing that says, hey, your medication may look different, but rest assured, it's the same exact medication. Talk to your pharmacist if you have any questions, something like that. That means they got it from another supplier. Now, where's that supplier? Like, you got to look at that because
yeah,
now you may be on a medication for a very long time, no issues whatsoever, and then they change suppliers, and now all of a sudden you're having an allergic reaction to something, and you don't know why. All of a sudden you got the hives, and you don't know why because you
yeah,
don't think about it. You go, "Oh, my medication changed, no big deal," and you just keep taking the same medicine. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying pay attention to changes. That's all.
yeah. I never paid attention to that stuff. I thought they would have told you, hey, we're giving you a new generic drug. Listen, prednisone, is prednisone the name of the drug or is it the type of steroids? I always get confused with that because can they ever give you a generic version of prednisone? What about Ocrevus? Can they
Mm,
give you a generic version of Ocrevus
they
one
don't
day?
have that yet. Well, one
Okay,
day, yeah.
yet.
Well, and that's the thing. And it comes down to who owns the patent, who created the drug, and who owns the drug. And that's now you're talking
Yeah, so
patent
it's
law, like who gets copyrighted protection. Like it has to be there's rules, and I'm not real familiar.
yeah, yeah,
I just
yeah.
know that it comes down to who owns it.
I just felt like asking Dr. Nick today. You seem to know a lot about this
Hi,
shit.
everybody.
Hi,
It's
everybody.
it's only because I pay attention. That's all.
What
I
are you
don't.
saying? I don't pay attention.
No, it's that
I get it. I
I'm
get it.
hyper focused on the tiniest little details that probably don't mean too
So
much, but
now that
I
we
want to
asked
know.
you about your side effects, do you know anyone that has gone through? First of all, there's that one pill where if you take it too soon, close to each other, you're supposed to take it every 12 hours. Vampira. Some people it's Ampura, depending
Uh-huh.
on. They say if you take that medication too close, one of the side effects, which I've never heard anybody getting, but
Right.
everyone freaks out about it, is seizures. So, but I've yet to know someone that has seizures, but that's a side effect that's listed. So it scares you, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I'm saying is like you can focus on the benefits and acknowledge the other part, or you can focus on the side effects. Just
I get
depends
it.
on what you want to look at. But to answer your question, I have the only time I've talked with anybody who personally who suffered side effects from a medication, they had hives and they had the what's listed on pretty much all of them is the injection site reaction.
Yeah,
So where they got it, they had a like a little like hives in their arm.
yeah.
Um, and it was pronounced. It was like you could see it. Um, but I haven't personally met anybody. I'm sure there are. That's why the
No, no,
warnings
I'm
are
sure.
there.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know anyone
Um,
either. There's that one guy I want to bring onto the show. If you're listening,
mhm.
man, hurry up. This guy, he wasn't in a chair, didn't need a wheelchair, was on some kind of infusion, and it put him in a chair. And
Really?
it was a side effect that happened to him, an infection, something.
That would
So
be interesting to hear about.
totally. And I don't want to scare people, right? But it's his story.
Yeah, and that's not what I'm trying to do here on this show too. I'm
No.
just I'm trying to this goes back to the thing where I always say like be your own advocate. No one's truly going to advocate and no one really knows what you're going through. So it's literally up to you. Even if you're surrounded by an amazing support network, which I am, which
Yeah.
I know you are, um, you still got to speak up and ask questions. Be annoying about it. Because when I worked in retail, way long time ago, when I worked in retail,
Yeah.
we had a customer who believed that every time they changed the packaging, they changed the formula. That was his whole. He would come in and go, oh, well, they changed the package again. I guess they changed something because they wouldn't do that without. And he goes, that's how you can tell they changed. And he might have been right. I have no idea.
Depending on what product, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's that's a whole other rabbit hole of a show,
Yeah, yeah.
but and
That's
there might be
funny.
something to it.
What about being colorblind? Do you hear about that with MSers? Because I'm colorblind. I don't know if you know, but I
No,
have it's
what is
now
it? The blue green,
it's green red. It starts with a
green
D,
red.
dermatopia.
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 different types of colorblindness, just like MS. There's different kinds.
Hey, go
But
figure.
yeah, the red and green. But a lot of people, first thing they say to me is, "Can you see a green light and a red light when at a traffic stop?" It's like, relax. Yes, I do. You know what it is? Colorblind. First of all, I don't have it because of MS. I have it because it runs down in my family. I think it gets sent down by the males, the male gene.
Right.
And I don't know what this is, bro.
Yeah, I was what
If
you
anyone's
just throw.
watching, I'm doing a hand gesture of something.
He's throwing the genes down his lineage.
But yeah, and you know
I
what
don't know
it
how
is
that
with
works.
colorblind? Because there was a kid. This is a funny story. I was outside with my scooter, and there's a little kid with his mom. The little kid's maybe he's 4. He runs up to my scooter, and he points at a light on there on my scooter, which is a reverse light. And he points
Okay.
at it, and he goes, "What is this red button?" And I look at it, and then I look at uh, a friend of mine that was there. I'm like, "Is this button red? I thought it was green." And then he goes, "No, no, it's green." I'm like, "Oh." And then I looked at the kid, the little kid, and I said, "Are you colorblind?" And the mom's like, "Yes, he is." And I'm like, "No way. He just red and green." And then I kind of gave her what's what with red and green because she was worried that he was going to have issues growing up. And I said,
Hmm.
he's not going to notice that he's colorblind. And the only time you notice you're colorblind is in the shade.
Hmm.
That's what it is. It's in the shade. So if there's no lights, even if you're outside and there's, you know, it's light outside, if there's no sun directly on the color, it could be grayed out, so
Gotcha.
it's not as crisp. So,
So, I would say, I'm going to acknowledge the fact that yes, having MS affect the eyes. 100%, there has to be people who are colorblind because of their MS. There's no way it's not happening because my blindness over here is total in the corners or in the corner.
okay.
Um, so I'd imagine there's a level of severity that somebody out there is like, oh, it because it affects the cones and the rods that make up how you see. It's your nerve.
Yeah.
Um, so once the nerve's affected, hey, who knows what? It's all over the place. It could be all the time. Mine just happens to be painful and impacting my vision over here.
Yeah.
So
I'm
just
not
where
gonna.
it's just where the lesions land, dude. You know?
And that's another thing with MRIs. Someone asked me, "So you doing an MRI on the brain?" I'm like, "Don't they usually just do it on the brain?" And then I found out because I had it on the brain stem, which is neck and brain, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
not on my spine, down my
Which is
spine,
weird to me.
which is weird, right? Because they're focusing on my brain lesions. That's it,
Right.
but not on the spine. So do I ask? Do I say, "Hey,
I would.
let's uh, uh,
Now it's
bone
only gonna
density MRI"? Thank you.
it's only gonna confirm what you already know.
I know,
You
and
know, I mean, the probably I'm gonna guess that the reason why they didn't do the spine is because it's kind of obvious what how you're being affected. But it would be nice to know where you're being affected, right? For you, wouldn't you want to know?
yeah, why is it? Yeah, why is it always on the brain? I know the brain shrinkage when we get lesions and stuff like that, but the lesions happen everywhere, not just the brain. Am I right?
They
It's
can, yeah.
cutting through the myelin in your spine.
Mhm.
Anyway, just curious why I don't
Yeah.
get that.
So yeah, it would I would definitely ask my doctor
Hmm.
for one.
Yep.
It's not like it costs anymore.
Don't be jealous, bro.
It's that's why I'm surprised you don't have like all the tests. Just go into your doctor and be like, all right, head to toe, everything you can, every test you can throw at me, throw at me. Sign me up for all of them.
I mean, we can if we want to. You know,
I would.
where the area I was living in, the doctor, I got a new doctor, and he's like, the way he was talking to me, he's like, what do you want? Do you want pain meds? Is this why you're here? And I'm like, no, no, no. I don't do pain meds. I'm here. And so I realized that a lot of people go to doctors to get,
Yes, sir.
and that,
Can confirm, having spent a few years in an ambulance,
yeah.
there are 100% yes, there are people who solely seek out medical advice for the drugs. It's not a made up thing from television.
That's funny. My tip from you is to go to a hospital and tell them I'm having a heart attack, and they'll bring me in right
Okay.
away,
Yeah,
and then say,
that's my tip.
actually, it's just my arm's broken.
Just my arms broke. No, that's that is not my tip.
Yeah.
It only gets you into the first part of the hospital experience faster. Other than that, they go, okay, he's here just for the drugs. And then they make you sit for longer.
Yeah.
It backfires.
So I was in other support groups, and I brought up an idea to some people, and I like this, and I want to bring it up here. This might be stupid. This might be a silly thing, but deaf, if you're deaf, I was going to say deaf people, but that's not right. People who happen to be deaf, if they happen to be deaf, listen to this. Their mother, their brother, whatever, they start to learn sign language, right?
Usually, yeah.
Usually. Okay. And maybe even their best friend.
I would.
Maybe I would too. You know how many people, I'm sure you have, I have tried to learn sign language, but you can't learn it unless you're in um, a conversation with someone all the time. You got
Right.
to be in a community to keep practicing. So I've done hours of, you know, and just like everybody else, I know how to sign language. Do you really? You know the alphabet? Can you do it in 10 seconds? Because people who sign language are pretty fast at it. Again, sorry for the hand gestures. I don't know what I'm saying to you. But so deaf people have people who happen to be deaf have people who support them by learning the sign language, to make their life easier.
Right.
Us, I'm in a wheelchair. I just it's a language that I want people to learn. I feel, but again, we don't say anything because it's all about me, 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 me. But if I was deaf, you would learn how to sign language. Now I'm in a
Right.
wheelchair. I don't want people to spend money, but it's like, stop inviting me over. Your place is not accessible for me. I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It's like, now I'm in a wheelchair. Do you not have respect for me? People
That's
who
that's
are
a
deaf, we
that's
have
a
respect for them.
yeah.
I
That's an
just
interesting way to look at it.
it's a mandatory tool for me now, you know?
Right.
That's it. I just
No,
wanted to get that off.
that is amazing. I have never even thought of that.
And you know how many people want to learn, they like go up to a deaf person and they
Yeah.
do language, and the deaf guy's like laughing like, "Yeah, you're doing a good job," or whatever. But people attempt with, I don't know. It's just another topic.
No, you're right. It's why are why is it easy to accommodate? I got probably because it's easier to accommodate someone who has hearing impairment than it is someone who's in a wheelchair.
Well, we can't really say that, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mean, here's a pen and paper. No, I know, but if it's you're gonna really piss off some people. Um, yeah,
What with technology the way it is today?
I don't know, man. If you're living in that world, you're probably like, "Do you know
Sure.
how hard my life is?" And
Yeah, no, absolutely. They look, it doesn't matter what it is. It all creates a unique set of challenges that nobody's prepared for. It requires tools to help you get through the day, and it requires support from those around you. I mean, that's you can boil it all down to that. Because that's what we all need.
yeah,
And that's pretty much what we all need. We all need whether we're diagnosed with anything or not. We just need that's how you get through it.
we want to feel included, not excluded.
Sure.
So, you know, we feel excluded when we know there's no way to get in somewhere. We're like, oh, I guess we're not wanted. Or when a button stops working for the door, we're like, oh, I guess
Mhm.
I'm not that important.
Yeah, I find myself saying stuff like that when I drive by like for example, if someone's getting their sidewalk redone
Yeah,
and there's just a sign that says sidewalk closed and there's no way that anyone could safely get around the sidewalk without walking on the grass, somebody's yard or
yeah,
into the street. So I'm like, great. If I had to be moving down that, what would I do?
yeah,
I'd have to jump the curb, go out into the street, go around the construction, and then jump back on the curb.
yeah,
And that now puts you in a scenario where you're in the chair lower than the height of I don't know how it is around where you are, but where I am, everyone has gigantic vehicles, that you don't even come up to the height of the bumper sometimes or to the
yeah.
hood. So now you're invisible all because the sidewalk was closed.
It's like that here. Yeah. When I get my coffee and I head home, it's like I say it's a block. Not even. It's less than a block where I go up a hill,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't go on the sidewalk. I go on the road because every time I go on the sidewalk, every crack bounces my coffee, spills on my leg.
Right.
It's a little difficult, and I don't have. What am I supposed to do? Hold it with my hand? So I go on the
Yeah.
street. There's less bumps. The cracks. Not only that, because the sidewalk is half of it is ruined. The cracks is like,
Yeah.
when are you guys gonna fix this? So
So maybe see you're tech savvy. Maybe you invent an app where people who have mobility issues can report bad sidewalks or bad,
and then what?
kind of like ways, but for people who are in wheelchairs and need mobility devices.
If there was like, even if there was 10 of us around this area, it would be worth it. But it's me and some other guy who's in a chair, or
Yeah,
there's
but you
probably a
don't
lot
know.
more, but they're
I was gonna
home.
say you have no idea.
I know. You're right. You're right. You're right.
But so there you go. Start your app, make a $1 billion. Don't forget us little people
No problem.
when you're on your
What,
handicap accessible jet.
what do you mean? Like there's a ramp to go in the jet? Is that
But
what you mean?
if
Is
you
that
make that much money, there'll be an elevator to get you into that. You'll have your
okay?
own skyway.
That's nice. So yeah, man.
But think about that. Everybody can just report.
I know what you're saying. Isn't there an app like that already? Is there
There
something
has
like
to
that?
be. There has to be.
I think there's an app already like that, but it's not for the roads.
If
It's not
not,
like Waze for the roads. That's pretty
ways
funny.
maybe ways for the sidewalks.
Whenever I use the Google Maps, I use the cycle. The
Yeah.
somewhere I use a cycle or sometimes the bus because it tells you where to go. But
See,
this,
there you go. Google's listening. Why doesn't Google have a wheelchair? How long would it take in a wheelchair to get from point A to point B in any city instead of walking?
I mean, shouldn't they put bike/scooter in the
Yeah.
same category because the same kind of speed?
They're always trying to make updates. Every time I open my Chrome up, there's another 5 updates.
Yeah.
They're always trying to make the they're always trying to make the buttons oval instead of square, but they're not going to worry about like we're solving the world's problems today, Terry.
Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of things I can talk about really. And another thing is uh being social. So they you know, friends, family, they want to go to a restaurant down the street and I don't like to go there because it's not accessible. It's not accessible enough. It,
Hmm.
there, so anyway, this is like another topic. So they want to go somewhere else, and I'm like, well, we need to see if it's accessible. Oh, it's accessible. It has handicap washrooms. And then when I go there, your accessible is not my accessible.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about this before, so I'm not going to get into this, but the bar is over here. It should be over here, so it's just not comfortable. Anyway, I don't know what I'm bitching about.
Yeah, that touched a nerve. Was that because like now let me ask so I'll ask this question, Terry.
Yeah.
Do you feel like does that make you feel like you're the burden of the group because you're the only one who always has to be worried about that?
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm the guy that's like, no, I can't do that, or this is so it's either shut up and go with the flow or be that guy who's like, no, let's go over here instead. It's better. I should be doing that because, respect, right? If I'm important enough, they would respect what I get it. But
So there's two things there. One, yes, absolutely, you're correct. They should have enough respect for you to also now be paying attention to those kind of things. Not only is it accessible, but is it accessible specifically for Terry? And then two, they should also, well, you should, I don't want to say you should. Uh, it would also be your part is a boundary that you would have to set by saying, okay, unfortunately, I can't join you on this thing, but thank you for including me and leave it there. So there's two sides to that. But yeah,
I get it.
just in the sense that we were just talking about being accommodated for someone who's hearing impaired. Those close to you should also be accommodating to Terry if they want you there. Now, if they don't, then that's a quick way to find out that they're really not your friends because they're constantly doing stuff you can't do.
There's a time that I'm gonna start saying no. I don't want to go. Thank you though. I appreciate it, but I don't do that much. I go. It's almost like a FOMO thing. I want to be there.
Sure.
I don't want to miss out. But
Sure.
I think missing out sometimes is better for me.
Yeah. Well, it's not missing out. It's yes, it's missing out on that particular event, but I think in the grand scheme of things, there's gonna be times where you just physically can't. You're gonna be tired. You're not gonna be in the mood. You can't. That's it's not. If there's steps where they even though it's listed online that it's accessible and you get there and it's not what it turns out to be. You just highlighting the fact that you and that any person and the friend group needs to just be flexible with the plans so that if you make plans to go to a restaurant and you get to that restaurant and it turns out to be not what they said it was, the group has to be like, okay, this doesn't work. We're gonna go. Let's look somewhere else. Like it's just
That would make me smile. Like, dude, even like it doesn't. Anyway, yes, that's the biggest support. Who you hang around, who you hang around, man, is the biggest support. I can't even.
mhm.
I have nothing more to say than that. If you're comfortable with who you're around and you're yourself, life is great. Life is fine.
Yeah.
You have all these issues, but if you're allowed to talk about these issues and not feel shamed, life is great, bro. Because I have a great. You said I have great support. I don't have a lot. I have like a handful. Really, I do have a handful, and but the you know.
That's my point.
And bro, you're part of the hand.
Yeah, you
full.
as well. You as well. Well, you are a handful, Terry. But that's the point. It doesn't have to be 100 people. If it's one, as long
Yeah.
as it's
Hmm.
you want people in your life who are gonna be as understanding as that and not gonna go, oh, here comes Terry again. Guess we'll have to move locations because we can't go down the steps or whatever. We can't go. Those are not the people you should be hanging out with.
When I go, because of my foot, I cannot stand and, I gotta,
Hmm.
do everything sitting down. I'm not gonna get into that now, but
Sure.
so when I go to the washroom in restaurant, a public restaurant, in a private restaurant, when I go to washroom in a restaurant, I gotta look at Katrina and say, "Let's go."
Yeah,
I'm so comfortable with her. We're like one, but
sure.
there's
And I know
the
she doesn't have a problem with helping or being
no, no,
involved.
no. I mean, we've gone. She's like, get over your ego, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, and she's like, shut up, and she'll just. But if there's people sitting at the restaurant with me, we're all sitting down. I'm like, okay, guys, I gotta go to the washroom. I'll be right back. Katrina, it's just kind of weird, And then they
Hmm.
see her follow me. Guy, don't until you go through it. Don't until you go through it where you're like, hey, babe, come with me, so you can. You're not gonna say it publicly, but come
Well,
with
you're
me. So
assuming that I haven't.
I am assuming you haven't, but
Uh-huh.
well,
Yeah.
see, I'm gonna be an ass and say, but you can stand.
It's
Sorry,
true.
sorry,
It doesn't mean that I can stand
bro.
all the
It was
time.
so wrong of me to even say that.
No, no,
I
no, it's
apologize.
okay. But first of all, I'm going to acknowledge your apology and I'm going to accept it. And I'm going to talk about that point because that's a lot of people are thinking that when it comes to my life. Um, a lot of people think that in their heads. Some of it even say it, but can't you walk? I get that a lot. And the answer is yes. Yes, I can stand. Yes, I can walk. Um, but being as hybrid as my mobility is, there are instances when I do need assistance in just exactly the same way you do. Um, so think of this. Say, look at it from my perspective. Say you could walk. Say you could walk fine for 20 feet, and then uh, days days you couldn't walk. So how much of an ego check does it need to be in the chair, knowing that tomorrow you might be able to walk and yesterday you could walk, but today you can't. And today's the day you need help. And today's the day you happen to be out at the same restaurant. And I have to go to the washroom and I do need the assistance. So yeah, I fully understand. I've been there. I've asked for help in the bathroom. Probably not to the degree that you need assistance, as far as getting up and down, but definitely there's been instances where that's happened. So I know what you're going through. I've been there. And don't feel bad about reacting the way you did because a lot of people react that. They look at me and go, yeah, but this guy walks. Especially, I'll tell you the harshest criticisms that I see and that sometimes I hear is, and I've talked about it hundreds of times, getting in and out of my car. Because here's a guy who gets out of the car, walks to the back,
Yeah,
gets his own wheelchair out, and then sits down and wheels in. The eyes of judgment are astounding.
yeah.
And I've even heard the comments. I've heard, and it
It's
you hear
horrible.
people, oh yeah, you hear people like try to lower their voice and talk to the person next to them, be like, oh, look at this faker. I've actually heard the word faker several times.
Wow.
Um, it doesn't affect me because I don't have the energy to correct everyone on the planet who does that. I don't want to spend the time and I don't have the energy. I just go about my life and I let them go about their life. And mathematically, the odds are extremely low that we will ever run into each other again. Ever. In the rest of my life, I will, the odds are very small that I will see these people ever again. So
Yeah.
I don't waste my time on it. I just go about my existence. Just do what I do. People are going to judge, people are going to do everything. Now, you can look at it and say, "Oh, wow, what a strong personality he has," because he doesn't let that affect him. Or you could say that I'm, I guess, a psychopath because I don't care about a lot of people's opinions. But um, I I think I think those comments are like the comments on Facebook. They don't really have any weight in my life. People feel the need, um, just people feel the need to feel important by putting their opinion out there about something they don't know about. And they don't know about my life. They don't know about Terry's life, but they're going to look and they're going to comment. And it
Yeah,
could even be your social group without telling you. You don't know,
yeah, yeah.
which would be crappy, but So that's my 2 cents on that.
We are so different, man. I can't keep quiet. If someone mumbled and I heard it, yeah, I think I'd lose my shit.
Well,
I've never heard
I
anyone mumble things.
yeah, I've heard a bunch. I had one time there was a woman, and I put it up. I responded to it. I wrote her a letter. I don't know who she was. I heard her say it. I was at a Walmart, and I wrote a response to her on my Facebook page, and I just told her that like I'm really happy that your life is going so well, and that you don't need to be in a wheelchair or be like, I'm very happy for you. I wish you nothing but the best. I just don't let those people affect me because they really don't matter. They really don't. The only one who, if I got mad at everybody who had anything to say about me, it would destroy me. It really would. And I would spend more time focusing on the negative
Yeah,
than the positives in my life. And I really like focusing on the positives. I like being happy. I have negatives. I don't stick my head in the sand and say like, oh, everything's fine in my world. Everything's not fine. I just choose to focus on that. And
yeah,
honestly, it's such a better existence because I've, spent a lot of time focusing on doom, gloom. I've sat around tables and tabletop scenarios that are like total destruction kind of scenarios. And everybody who spends enough time in the emergency services will get to that point where they tabletop exercises where they're talking about, car accidents, house fires, big destructive things. So I spent a lot of time focusing on the negative portions. And now because of the diagnosis, um, I've been allowed the opportunity to shift to what I want to focus on. And what I wanted to focus on was my life, my track, including all, family and all the things, myself, my health, all that. And I can always choose positive and negative, and I choose to focus on the positive. So I feel a lot better because of it.
that's good. Yeah, man. I mean, I, I'm I'm on that road, but I'm not there yet. Like
Okay.
I get bitter a lot. You know, I have this bitter feeling inside of me, and it's almost like I protect myself. You know, I
Hmm.
know this sounds weird.
No, it does.
The
Listen, it doesn't
defend
sound weird at
mechanism.
all. It is. We are.
I'm a happy guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a happy guy, joyous. You know, I love to
Oh
be
yeah.
positive. I love to make people laugh. But then there's
We're.
that inside feeling, you know, of
Mhm.
I start to read into things too much. And I'm like, what is their intention? What's going on here? What's, you know,
Mhm. Absolutely, I do. And that's total, and that makes us all human. And I'm, believe me, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm anything any more special than anybody else. I have all the emotions everybody does. There are times where I want to rage out, but I just don't let those people. Somebody cuts me off in traffic. Okay. Somebody, when I pull into a handicap parking spot and I look next to me and the truck is backed in so no one can see their license plate, then I
yeah,
go, okay, that guy's probably not a handicap. He probably doesn't have a plate. I don't let that stuff bother me. Because it's just
because
too much
what?
energy. Just too much energy, dude.
That's why, because it's too much energy.
Yeah.
That shit
I don't
bothers me.
I don't want to spend the energy on it. I don't have enough energy to give to people who don't deserve it.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
I
Okay.
just don't.
I get it. I wanna, that's classy, bro. I wanna have that composure because sometimes I lose my shit, you know? But I'm not gonna
Oh,
go up to a car and say, "Where's your permit, man?" Where I'm
right.
not gonna go, you know what I mean? But in my
Yeah,
head, it spirals like you mother.
sure. Listen, and I know that there are a lot of times that I should, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't have that fight in me to fix the world anymore.
Yeah. Um, just to end it on this one, whenever I go to Tim Hortons in line, as soon as someone gets like, even though it's probably a right distance if you're standing, but as soon as someone gets close to me in the back,
Uh-huh.
I don't say anything. But you know what I do? I do a lot of head turning. So
Yeah.
I do a lot of these, trying to give them a side eye, like, are you close to me? Can you? I don't say 6 feet, but during COVID, I used to. I used to be like, can you
Sure.
give me some space?
Yeah.
Because they're standing here, I'm down.
Yeah.
It comes down to me, you know.
And we are immunocompromised.
That too.
So, higher risk for everything.
Yep.
Is that where you want to end it? No more
Yep.
monologuing from me today.
Okay. Good. Let me enjoy the rest of my coffee, please.
I will. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us as always,
Thanks,
making
bro.
it to the end of another one. Terry, thanks for being as honest as you are
Thanks, man.
and allowing me to have enough space to rant as I want.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you. And we appreciate all of our listeners and supporters. Oh my goodness, we are in October. That means we have about a month left before we take our break. So we're going to figure a bunch of stuff out and hopefully keep providing your favorite MS podcast. All right. Talk soon,
Later,
brother.
guys. Bye. So check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4 letter T below zero.com. Or feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. Our personal Instagram account are, for Nix, it's Nix_V713. Or for Terry, it's What's_MS. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. We'll talk soon.